Energy Manager, refueling fossil fuel power plants. So the issue that I have right now, we've got a new interface, and I have a lot more wind power, a lot more solar power, and right now the price is really cheap on oil. So I'm going to buy some fuel. You're going to get to see what the new interface looks like. One of the big tips I have for new players: avoid the oil or natural gas power plants. And the reason why is because it takes so long to refuel that you're going to hate playing the game. That's how bad it is. So the coal is easier to refuel because you can put more, your capacity is higher for coal. See, over here it says 100,000 for oil. It's possible that my coal capacity is higher, maybe because I got an upgrade, but my coal is 250,000. If they're equal, that's not good. If they're equal, you want to pick one, and then what you want to do is you want to upgrade the capacity either for oil or for coal. My recommendation is you go for coal. The advantage is that you're going to refuel in half the time. It takes me a half an hour to refuel, and then after an hour, you have to refuel again. You know, it's a real pain, and it makes the game very boring. And I complain to the developers, and there's really little you can do about it. Obviously, you can increase the capacity, but you're not going to want to do that because you're going to want to expand and get the hydrogen. And on the PC version, you can't do that because you can't buy the points. I accidentally spent some points on some stuff that I didn't want. I accidentally bought some property when I was trying to demonstrate, and it didn't say, "Are you sure?" It just did it. So that took up like 30 points. And maybe there was something else I did by mistake, but I don't remember. I don't think I'm going to have points to get the hydrogen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to restart the game. Now that we have wind power and solar power, I think it's going to be a little bit easier. It's going to be less painful because you won't have to go through the lengthy period of refueling. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the hydrogen, and I'll get to test out the hydrogen and finally do a meaningful hydrogen video. And the other thing is I do have drilling, the offshore drilling. The drilling is not profitable. It takes like a year before you break even if you do it every day, and it was a little bit interesting, but if I restart the game, I'm not going to do the drilling. So right now, my plan is just to make enough money to buy the offshore wind farms, get rid of my power plants. And it's like I said, the reason why is because it's such a pain to refuel that I just don't want to own the plants anymore. So I'm going to get rid of the oil and the gas plants first. I'm going to start with the smaller plants, which for me is 75 megawatts. You can see how long the video has been. I'm at what, 10%? Nowhere. Oh, it's maybe I'm at 20%. I'm nowhere near even the halfway mark for refueling. That's how long it takes. It's a pain in the butt. But I'm going to show you a trick for how you can do it faster. What you do is you go and you refuel, and then you hit bring online, and then you see how it says 10. Now it went down to 7. So now I'm refueling a smaller number of plants, which means they're not going to be fully fueled. You're going to have to eventually refuel them again. So I'm going to hit the bring online, and let's see if the oil 7 goes down. It went down to 6. So just a minute ago, I was refueling 10 plants. Now I'm only refueling 6 plants. Okay, so another issue is that right now oil is very cheap. It's $1.41. And because it's so cheap, you want to refuel as much as possible. If it's $1.50 or less, you want to get as much fuel as you can, buy as much, and refuel as much as you can. I'm going to show you what coal is. I think it's 450. You see the coal is 410. So I'm not going to buy coal right now, which means that all of my coal plants that have no fuel, they're just not going to run. It's too expensive to buy the fuel. So I've only got 4 oil plants left. So that's why I'm hoping that the wind power is going to end up winning. Obviously, the coal and oil is very powerful, but the issue with the refueling and the price of the fuel makes it so that you're not going to want to do it. I'm going to give you some examples. You have to buy the fuel at half price or lower. The full price, I think, is $6. So you're going to want it for under $3. I usually buy it at $2.50 or less. But if you buy it at $2.50, you're going to be close to breaking even. And the issue with the CO2 is that you're never going to get the CO2 at a good price. So if you're not going to get the CO2 at a good price, you got to be lucky to get it at a good price. Then it's going to be costly to buy fuel at a high price. So you're not going to make money every day. Maybe when you have a smaller number of factories, it's not going to bother you so much. But I got a lot of factories, and it's a waste of time to refuel a lot of factories that don't make any money. So I'm going to show you an example real quick with the CO2. You got to buy it at like 10. I wouldn't buy it for more than 15. You see over here it was $8 and over here it was 16 and over here it was 20. I would not buy it for 20 because I'm not going to make any money if I buy it for 20. And 16, maybe I'll buy a little bit. But look at this. You had to go for how many hours in order to get it for $8? At $8, it's worth it. Right now, it's 87. I don't even have enough to pay for half. So all those issues, and you only need the CO2 quotas for your fossil fuel plants. You'll make a lot more money if you buy the quotas because you get the subsidies. All of my storage units get a subsidy of 40% or more. That's huge. It's almost double the prices. So I'm going to be done soon with the refueling, and I hope you understand that you want to avoid. I got one more left to do. You want to avoid going through this experience. So the advantage of having oil and coal is that you can buy whatever fuel is cheapest and only run that and make half oil, half coal. But then you're not running to capacity. So those are some of the issues. So I'm going to show you what it's like to refuel just one plant. You can see I'm only at halfway, which means I got to do it at least 3 more times. But the advantage is because I'm putting a lot of fuel in, more time will go by before I have to refuel it. He's getting all of the fuel right now. When you refuel, if you've got like 20 plants, it's not distributing the fuel evenly among all the plants. It's putting, I guess, all of it. When I hit this button and I add the 100,000, I think it all goes into one plant. I don't know for sure, but that's the behavior that I think is happening. Because if it didn't, you wouldn't be able to bring anything online until you refueled everything. So now I'm going to bring it online. Still got the coal plants. Unfortunately, it's too expensive to buy the fuel. You can see these are my plants. I could um, increase the capacity, but then I'll never get the hydrogen. So to increase capacity, you do maybe it's not available here. I'm going to show you where you can find it. You go to fuel, you go to over here where it says plus capacity, and it's 20 points. But I don't want to spend the 20 points. I did spend 20 points to increase my coal because I was just getting sick and tired of refueling. Okay, so over here we got build and we've got research, and you see over here it says projects, and then fuel, reduce oil price, reduce coal price, reduce uranium price. Based on my research, the does it really say 0.35? Based on my research, it wasn't really worth it. Like, it would take a long time to make this money back. And I'm going to sell a lot of oil, so I'm going to do the coal price. I thought it only impacted it by a penny. Over here it says 0.35, and I really am not sure what that means. The vessel you don't have to worry about. We've got here with storage. I don't think that's going to matter so much. The upkeep is going to bring down your daily cost. The fossil capacity. Containment materials raise capacity by 10 kilograms. 10 kilograms is really small considering that you're doing 100,000 at a time and a plant holds like 500,000 or more. So 10 kilograms is really not that useful. And look how much money you got to pay for it. So it doesn't seem like it's worth it. This is for the stock market. The connection limit could be useful. Having another research lab is useful because you can't research everything in a year. I mean, it's going to take you years to research everything. And a lot of these things are not worth it. Maybe grid expansion. I'm not sure what it does. I'm going to have to research this one. And then the budgeting and the accelerate research could always be useful. So I'm going to look at facilities real quick. Oh, you got to pay points to get the additional research facilities. I'd love to do it, but you can't get points on the PC unless you do the achievements, and there's just not a lot of achievements. So the achievements are here. So we're going to go through real quick. Lock a grid price, not sure what that means. Only going to win cash. Cash is not useful to me. And I tried Back to the Future. I got the exact amount, but it didn't give it to me. And expansion is you got to pay more to do the expansion, then you get the reward. Getting more offices will prevent me from getting hydrogen. the grid auction with more than 20 bidders. I tried so many grid auctions, and I never got this ever. Full power on a nuke power plant, you have to be able to buy points in order to get that, and you can't do it with the PC. Buy the nuke plant, you can't do it with the PC. So a lot of these things you're not going to be able to do. And I'm going to have to give some of them a shot when I restart the game. So you're going to come over here, and you're going to look at your storage. If you got that 1 gigawatt coal plant online, it only takes an hour to fill up the storage. Insufficient fuel. 4.6 million. Right now you can see it's worth around 10 million. And again, the prices go up and down, so it's really going to be worth more depending on when you sell it. I enjoy playing the game, but refueling is a pain in the butt. And you could lose easily. It could cost you 10 million to refuel. So I'm going to guess I probably spent 3.9 million refueling the oil, and if I had done coal, it would have been a total of around 10 million. Okay, so with the 73 million, I'm going to be able to buy some, at least one of the offshore power plants. So before you buy, obviously you want to check to see how they're doing. So you got to click on the plant and then do details. This one, oh, it was there. And then look at, like, the average number is 8 megawatts. It's not so bad. Getting pretty good. So this one's also doing pretty good. We had a little bit of downtime. So gonna look at the storage. They're all going into this one. 70 megawatts. So these 4 or 3 units, I don't know which one is connected. Is there more? So they're kind of equivalent to a small oil plant. That's 21 plus 10. So you're talking about 100 megawatts from this. And that means that each one of these needs to be replaced. This is 150 megawatts. They have to be replaced by, like, that's 150 megawatts. That's a lot. Maybe I already got rid of all the small ones. So that means you need about 10 of these wind farms to equal one power plant. So instead of having 60, I'm going to have 60 wind farms is going to be equal to 10 of these oil plants. But the difference is I won't have to refuel it, and it's going to be charging all day long, and it's going to be a lot easier. I'm going to get them up and running a lot faster. I'm probably going to play the game a little bit more every day. So there's going to be advantages to making the switch. I'm going to get rid of all of these windmills. Each one of them is going to go from like 1 megawatt or 2 megawatt to 15 to 20 megawatts. It's going to be a huge difference. I don't know why these aren't spinning. Oh, it's discharging is the reason why. And then with these, it's going to be, that's actually doing pretty good. 10 kilowatts, 10,000, 14. But like I said, I'm going to separate them. I'm going to get all of the windmills right now, and then I'm going to do the solar powered later so you can see what it's like. And then I'm going to move to Florida when I restart the game. So that's a little bit about refueling with Energy Manager. If you have any questions or comments, please post below. And don't forget to go to cheapbooks.com to buy books and textbooks. And if you know someone who's a college student, make sure you tell them to look for their books at cheapbooks.com.